Alright guys, we're back here with Game 2 of the top 4 Star Wars living card game. If you missed Game 1, be sure to check it out at the link above and see kind of where these players stand. It's going to be important to know to see that first game, so check that out. If you just came from Game 1, welcome. This is Game 2. We're going to see who moves on to the finals here. We have John here on the right. We have Grant Huddleston on the left. I'm joined by Zach. How you doing, Zach?
I'm fantastic.
And my name's Steven. We're here with Team Covenant to show this game and talk about it a little bit as we go. We have Grant opening with the Imperial Navy objective or identity. What do we call it here?
Affiliation.
Affiliation.
You got everyone except the right one.
About 1,000 names for these things. And the Rebel Alliance over here on John's side, which is actually a pretty good indicator for him because he needs to win fast. And if anyone can win fast, it is the Rebels with all those smuggler objectives.
That is exactly what you want.
Yeah, that is a perfect showing there. And Grant really paying attention to those objectives. And Imperial Command, Fall of the Jedi, and Council of the Sith. Cards that I cannot get away from seeing.
That's the exact same setup that John had last game in this same match.
When building a dark side deck, playing against a dark side deck, I can just expect to see those 3 objective sets and pretty much anything. Even the deck I just built for the dark side, which has nothing to do with really what these objective sets want to do, has them in there.
Resources draw decent characters. You can't really ask for too much.
Can't really ask for too much. You're right. Grant going to kick it off and playing one for Sith Library, so pumping out the resources early. Really kind of what you want to see out of these Sith/Imperial decks. Stormtrooper, the heavy one.
The heavy Stormtroopers, man.
Which you've come to expect from a vanilla Stormtrooper unit going on the Force.
And Grant is sitting on 3 open resources.
Yes, what could that mean? Maybe a Force Lightning?
Maybe. It's kind of a weird
Could also mean I just drew a poor slew of cards. Alright, we got a resource coming out on John's end, the hidden outpost looks like. And there is the Renegade Squadron leader. He has the protective vehicle.
Yep.
Not mistaken. Also has an objective damage. And the Y-Wing also with objective damage. So we got some Y-Wings early. This is going to really help John to get this thing under wraps early. And he does definitely need to do that. And it looks like Grant's sitting on a Palpatine in hand. So be ready for that.
The heavy Stormtrooper squad is a fantastic early game unit.
And it's really what you want against these Sleuth Scouts too.
Absolutely.
Which I can only expect during the deck.
2 damage for 2 health. I think I saw Grant had a Heat of Battle in his hand, so it'll be interesting because he could potentially clear the light side's board here, which is what he really wants if he decides to attack.
You always want that. I mean, who wouldn't? I would love for 2 black unit damage on that Stormtrooper. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Too good, huh?
That would be nice, but I don't think it's necessary. 2 for 2 icons and 2 health and no affiliation. More importantly, like that's actually a really huge boon to that card because you can kind of play it with whatever you've got left.
Even Jabba can hire the Stormtroopers. Who knew? So not even attacking here, just going to take the Force back. John, maybe this is kind of the issue sometimes when you're on the clock. You know you've only got so far for that Death Star dial to go.
You can't make any mistakes.
You can't make any mistakes, and sometimes it leads you to play more conservatively than you should. And not get the job done.
And
so
it's pretty easy to not want to be aggressive that early because you see the Stormtrooper squad and it's like, man, if he has a heated battle, he could wipe my board. If that happens, there's really no way of getting back. You don't have balance. Death Star does at 3. You have no board. It's going to be a tough game. So very tricky position to be in, knowing where your opponent landed as the light side.
Yeah. Darth Vader is showing up in hand as well. Force Choke goes out of hand to make room. And the Duty Officer comes in. So more resources on the board here for Grant.
And it looks like he also has a Force Lightning up there.
Yeah, just doing a Force Lightning as well. So has some pretty good stalling tools here, even against these vehicles. So, those Force Chokes lose a lot of their potency, but you can still Force Lightning, which is a significant thing.
I've spent many Force Lightning on a Sleuth Scout.
And it looks like Grant going to play Vader out here. No, the Emperor. Paying 6 for him, and the defense is in the game.
Yeah, when you look at the resources here, you can spend all 6, know that you're not going to use Imperial Command next turn, and still have enough to get Vader out next turn, if that's the path you so choose. But this is a great way to lock down and know you've got the balance of the Force, knowing you only need to get to 7 to win. Now he's got to deal with the Emperor, or he knows he's only got 3 turns left.
Yeah. So how do you deal with the Emperor? Sleuth Scout, I think, is a good way to get in there. Discarding a target of opportunity to draw up. Bit surprised by that one.
Sleuth Scouts are a way to get past the Emperor, but that doesn't help you deal with the Emperor.
Yeah, the all dealing, the grand dealing.
Yeah, normally the light side is okay with him being on the board if you have Sleuth Scouts, because you can just ping them away and they've actually got to deal with you. But in this case, it's going to be rough to get offense going when you know you've got the Emperor there if you aren't drawing into Sleuths.
Especially, it looks like John playing or at least drawing into a more traditional rushy vehicle setup. And that's easily blocked by the big dog there.
The rough part of committing those 2 units is going to be the fact that thinking maybe he has 2 turns left.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you've got 2 turns left, you attack with these guys, and you don't really get to see them again.
Yeah.
Or you get 1 more turn with these guys, maybe if they're still alive. So it's really an interesting, like, it's a bummer that you had to commit them, but at the same time, I wonder really if that was the decision that should have been made.
And that is for John to decide. And we're paying 5 for something big, looks like. That is Renegade Squadron.
You know, unfortunately, that's a fantastic unit. But unfortunately, I don't think that's what you want to see here.
You can maybe try to pound for pound the Palp, the Emperor, try to focus him out before he can focus you out.
Yeah, that's a bad plan.
It's sometimes the only plan.
Yeah. Got a feeling he has to attack here. And if he does,
you've got to attack, and you've got to leave with Renegade Squadron 2 focus icons, potentially getting you in with the X-Wing, or the Y-Wing and the Renegade Squadron escort. So Emperor's going to block here. We're going to have ourselves one of the most important edge battles of this game, without a doubt.
And man, I'm telling you, sitting on Darth Vader right here is a good feeling. You drop Vader.
Look like a twist may be in hand as well.
We drop Vader and pass.
Pass? What is that?
Heat of battle.
All right, so Vader wins the edge battle here.
I think we're just going to go ahead and tap
For his
everybody once.
Emperor. So now, it's lockdown time.
There's a lot to say about. Sometimes you know you're in an edge battle. That's a huge win for Grant there. Huge edge battle win. Look at all those focus icons. There's a lot to say for the edge battle. You're trying to draw cards out of your opponent's hand. You're trying to get them to waste stuff. Trying to get them to overcommit and think you're twisting. But it really only works if you're willing to put a card down and pass. If that card is good. So I've been learning a lot that if you're gonna put that card down and act like it's a twist, it better have 2 to 3 icons on it. Or you put it down, they put a card down, you pass, they think it's a twist, they pass, they have 2, you have 1, they still win. So putting Darth Vader down there, I think is absolutely the right call. You've got to be able to have the bluff pay off for you if it's not a twist that you're dropping.
Yeah, and particularly on defense, it's a matter of, you know, 1 card, even if they play a second one, you pass again. If they play a third into that and it is a twist, that you just can't afford that. So it's kind of a weird situation. And you being at 4 means that they're going to have some stellar cards, which the Rebel lacks and the Smugglers aren't too heavy on.
Yeah.
And to do it, I mean, you'd have to be pitching the Falcon, and you have to think if he had a Falcon, he would have played that instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to Force Lightning that Renegade Squadron.
Makes a lot of sense.
Insult to injury here. 5 resources off the board. Palpatine is up. Advisor's up. We have resources to spare. Looks like Grant is really locking this one down. He's seeing the kind of lockdown that I think his deck really loves to see. Knowing you only got to get that Death Star dial to 7, he's actually going to attack with the Emperor here.
He's going to remove that unopposed
Get
bonus.
the unopposed bonus out of here and make sure those Y-Wings never see the light of day.
I feel like, just throw it out there.
I feel like you would have defended here, wouldn't you?
I may have swung with the Advisor instead. But on the other hand, I mean, you know they're locked down. There are Cloud City Operatives which could do some damage to you. He knows the Smuggler decks like anyone else.
Yeah.
And kind of knowing that some of those units are locked down is going to make it really just extremely tough for John to do anything about. But I think most importantly into that factor is the idea that now John's got an objective with 2 damage left. And he's got focused units down. So for him to attack and leave himself open, he's going to have to hand Grant the game.
Yeah, Grant going up to 6 as long as he holds on to the Force, which looks like he's got 3 icons on it right now. It's going to be very hard for John to both attack and take the Force back. So I'm going to guess that it's just going to be a really hard decision. You've got to hold the force, and you've got to not lose that objective. Because that thing ticks up twice. You kill, raise the stakes, this game is over.
Yeah.
So we're not going to certainly help to deal with that. I'm guessing Advisor of the Emperor is going to go here.
Yeah. And when he leaves play, I'll draw a
back in the hand.
And now we only need one force icon above the one currently on the Stormtrooper to take the force back. We're going to see, and whenever a unit leaves play, draw a card. Classic objective for the smugglers.
But, I mean, taking the force back here only buys you so much time.
And Cloud City Operative.
It's good news.
And there it goes. So, smugglers, again, finding a way to get some stuff going here.
But Grant did lock the Y-Wing down.
Yes.
Which is
critical. Yeah, definitely critical. And still run into the same issues. You got to get the force. You've got to probably destroy at least one objective here. This game is slowly coming into the 6 to 7 Death Star dial mark. And I think this force is going to flip, but we're going to see if maybe there's another Y-Wing. So this is going to give a good shot to John to do some damage. Doesn't exactly have... Well, he's got a good objectives.
Nah, I mean, he can lock the Emperor down here, which is important. Wouldn't you
like to see, like, across the Anawit there, right here? The unopposed bonus raised up.
Oh, you would well, that gives them
that gives them all the extra objective.
The raise the stakes, which is on the board damaged, is extra unopposed if it's not damaged.
Unopposed to 2, but it doesn't matter because that was taken care of. So we're attacking the bottom objective here. Follow the Council of the Sith. 3 damage goes on.
All of the Jedi.
Looks like the operatives attacking Fall of the Jedi, gonna lock down Palpatine. And then I think you almost have to keep the balance here, yeah, which he does.
Yeah.
So he's definitely still in this.
Only going up to 5.
He's got a lot of units out. He has done a fair amount of damage. I mean, it should be pretty easy to knock off Council of the Sith the next time.
So let's just get frisky and imagine that Grant manages to kill both objectives. That is a possibility.
That is a way to seal the game.
I don't know that he has the goods to do it in his deck or in his hand, especially looking at it now, but you know, that's kind of one of the objectives of a bit heavier Imperial deck. You can swing in there and just do that surprise, oops, I just killed 2 objectives all at once because I dropped my orbital bombardment that you weren't expecting.
Now, I did just see Grant draw a Force Shockwave.
That could be a big deal.
That is going to be a major deal with 2 Y-Wings on the board. Now, he doesn't protect on the Renegade, so he can save one of them. But I'm curious to see how Grant plays this. There's all sorts of ways to be mean.
Some trickery here. And Force Shockwave, a new card coming in, Edge of Darkness, and that really kind of gave the Sith a major tool in dealing with a lot of decks. This one in particular comes to mind. Force Shockwave I've seen used to devastating effect pretty much all over this tournament and here in Tulsa.
It is a very powerful card.
Here's the Advisor. Boy, you can't ask for better in a 2-cost package there, given the Cactus icon, 2 Force icons for the Force Struggle, and a resource. Pretty much anything you could want out of a unit is there. We'll see what else Grant wants to play here. Another heavy Stormtrooper squad coming out.
It's a lot of units. You know, he has 4 left. If he happened to have an orbital bombardment here, it would be good news bears.
It would be an interesting game at that point.
But
gonna put the Advisor back on, take the Force back, and going back to John. Pressure's on.
Pressure's on the Rebels.
You have to take the Force back or you instantly lose the game unless you can kill 3 objectives this turn. And we'll see what the Force decides.
Yes, we will. Now, John does have, looks like, 6 resources. So, not awful, but probably not exactly what you want to be.
Pretty good for the light side. Sometimes having issues with resources, but having those 2 hidden outposts certainly helps. No 2 resource objectives is slowing that resource curve down a little bit. And we'll see if he can pull it off.
Now, he's studying Rebel Alliance, which means you know Lando can't be in his deck. Trust me, he's smugglers only. And I'm trying to think, I don't know of... There may be one other smuggler objective that is 2 resources. So, That's one of the things about the smugglers.
It is, yeah. They're a little bit more wily than the others. Don't have quite the resource support that typical decks are going to have. Where are your Echo defense bases, you know? Your Rebel command centers. And John really having to think this one over for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
A lot of things on the line here, and it's just hard to get in.
When you've played this many rounds and gotten this far in such a big tournament, and really the first major tournament for the game, and knowing there's no time limit on the round, there's no reason to rush. Obviously, you don't want to do something silly. But at the same time, the pain of just looking at the same cards over and over again and knowing
there's really no way.
This math is not adding up in my brain. That fleeting feeling of hope going away is not cool.
Yeah.
I think we should get heart monitors on these players.
Now that would be a nice little statistic.
You just see their heart rate over there on the side. I can imagine.
Now that it's been said, I'm probably sure that it's going to happen at some point.
It'd be pretty intense.
That Y-wing still being down is really playing a critical role in the safety of Grant's objectives.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we have the Emperor that's also still down because of that turn, really. But the Y-wing is also still down because of that turn. So it's an interesting exchange for sure, especially when the game is like half of what it normally is, knowing you only need to get 7. The fact that we haven't seen any sleuths would make me wonder if Grant's regretting having the Emperor committed.
Rebel Assault comes in.
Now that's interesting.
That's a card you build a deck around, right? I mean, anytime you can get a Rebel Assault in the deck, generally you try to do it, yeah.
That's a card. What's interesting about that to me is that, you know, that he has the objective lets him draw when his opponent's unit lets play, which is nice.
That may be the sole reason for it, really.
But at the same time, you almost wonder if, you know, if you could have attacked and won the edge battle, would those 2 damage have come in more handy
for the objective?
For the objective, because you just, I'm looking at the math, and you know, a Y-wing on Imperial Command plus Rebel Assault gets rid of it, as opposed to, you know, having to somehow get out a lot more objective damage. We can't really see his hand, so it's really hard to say.
Hard to say. Even just a Rebel Assault on the Council of the Sith is going to knock that one out too.
That is a card.
Blockade Runner comes in.
A card for its time. So it has 2 objective damage, which is nice. Most importantly probably here is that it has 3 health. So neither of those stormtroopers by themselves can knock it out. Obviously, a heated battle could make that difference.
Definitely change things.
But knowing you got 2 objective damage there is a big deal. And knowing that you can't just kill it, it's going to make Grant's decision whether to block that or not a lot harder.
Especially with that classy operative on the table, kind of throwing that tactics icon out and about. That is going to affect the math here too. And John looks like he's passing here. Which, before he does, is going to get a Force Shockwave.
He was going to commit the Blockade Runner, which would get him the balance of the Force and give him a shot. But Grant wanted a Force Shockwave because Force Shockwave only affects non-committed units.
Yeah.
So he was making sure that happened beforehand.
Yeah. And wow, so no attacks there. I just don't know how you plan to win this game at this point.
I mean, John has to think right here that he can play enough stuff next turn, no matter what Grant has, to get in and get enough damage.
Kill 3 objectives.
He's kind of waiting on it a little bit.
But how can you raise the stakes from being killed here with 2 damage on it?
That is the question.
I mean, that's an issue just right now. Palpatine swings in on anything, any objective, and just focuses out that board, and all of a sudden you're going to lose it.
I almost wonder if Grant passing deployment, attacking with the Emperor, and dropping the Vader that we now see, his entire hand, or
to
at least
edge stack,
to the edge stack to go ahead and force through the issue, but we'll see what he does. Also, if you look across and the math isn't there, sometimes the math just isn't there, and it's not worth the attack. I mean, he would auto lose if he doesn't get the balance there. So
I feel like here I'd play that Vader. I mean, get those objective damage on the table. He's swinging a Palpatine on one of these nonsense objectives that's uninjured. Like, he has to block it. And he has to try to win. You can put 3 focus on 1, Vader swings in on opposed and kills the thing. Or You know, anything with an objective damage right now could do some serious work here. Or like you said, just send Palpatine in, win that edge battle straight up, and
now,
kill the thing.
If you played Vader, you could also attack with Vader and Palpatine.
That's nasty.
Just for the black objective damage.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting.
And there he is.
There's Vader. I did see an Emperor Palpatine in Grant's hand.
That's an edge battle winner, and there are some fate cards in there too. I think a twist or a heat or both.
Heat, yeah, it's a heat. Looks like maybe 2 heats. Emperor Palpatine is an edge bomb. Oh!
And he's not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm very surprised by that. Very surprised by that. This is a safe play for sure, but I would not give the smugglers another chance to try to pull some tricks here.
Yeah, I almost wonder if Grant is thinking of something in particular that John could have had that would have really derailed him there. That's worse than what he could potentially have right now.
I don't know. I mean, obviously not being in the top 4, I don't know, but
I would be very curious to know what's
I'd like to
going
know
on
what he was thinking there. I feel like that was the end of the game for sure. I can't get around it. I just can't get around it.
My brain, it hurts.
Anything.
I mean, you know, at least if you attack with Palpatine and win the edge battle, you know you win the game. And if you don't win the edge battle, that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, all these things are okay.
Curious. We'll see if John has what it takes to pull it out here. I wonder if John's sitting there thinking, man, he gave me another shot.
He gave me another shot. He gave me another round.
Especially with a blockade runner out, which Vader nor Palpatine can block.
We got 2 heavy stormtroopers really sitting there for him. The Advisor of the Emperor, also a significant defender here.
It's interesting too because if Grant had attacked with the Advisor to the Emperor, it's the kind of thing where all of John's units are committed to the Force.
Yep.
Do you block that?
Nope. But you have to.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting situation.
I think Grant really just playing as safe a game as he can play.
He doesn't want something.
And having the units out that he hopes are going to really lock this thing up. But you see like 2 sleuths coming in here.
That is a card.
That is a card. That is a card.
That could be bad news. So now let me see if the math is there.
There's some math there.
I'm still gonna have to win the edge battle against Palpatine to do anything.
Which isn't easy. We've seen Grant's hand is stacked. And the tide does go to the defender, so it is a bit safer to be in that position.
Yeah, this is just so tough because, you know, even if you attack with blockade runner here, blockade runner can get hit by a stormtrooper, so you want to win that edge battle. But then you're also really going to need the home 1 edge battle. So it's, you know, if he had maybe 1 more turn, this could have gotten really ugly, I think. We'll see what happens.
So blockade runner being blocked by having to think about it. It's a big edge battle, very significant here. Looks like Advisor and the Stormtrooper squad.
That's a good call. If he wins the edge battle, he'll get to kill a blockade runner. No, he has Protect.
He does have Protect.
Protect.
There is a card. And Grant, I don't know, probably running. Also have a heat of battle here. We're gonna see if he throws that in there.
I got a feeling that Grant is blocking with 2 units just for swindle protection.
It's for unopposed, yeah, swindle protection. And he's playing 2 cards out. 2-1.
Oh.
Both heat of battles coming out. And that's gonna allow that stormtrooper to easily moiter past protect.
Alright.
Wow.
I'll swindle your.
And swindling the Advisor.
React to draw a card. Fair enough.
Swindle the Advisor, because if not, then the home 1 is for sure getting locked down.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to destroy all 3 objectives, so
I'll take the. Okay.
not too much you can do here.
Yeah. Now, the 2 heat of battles being played there, it looks like he placed 3 damage across the board, right?
No, he already had 1 on the blockade runner.
Had 1 on the blockade, okay.
Yeah, the shockwave, so.
That's right.
Now the blockade runner goes away, meaning
My dreams, I
Grant
think.
is breathing a lot easier right now. I don't think it's possible for all 3 objectives to get blown up at this point.
It would be a miracle. It would be a home run.
Oh no, he doesn't have raw resources left.
And Renegade. Y-Wing.
And
Check.
all the guys coming in
2.
for a party on the middle objective. And here is where the Emperor is going to do some serious wall building, I think.
Just helps.
So I think Grant still has that Emperor in his hand, which is a great time to put it down first and just
It
pass.
is. It is. And still, John looking for maybe a home one on that top objective or bottom objective to easily maybe sweep out 2 objectives, but I don't know how he's going to get the 3rd.
Alright. Let's do this.
Unless he has a sneaky rebel assault with hidden resources somewhere.
The resource is so hidden. I really can't see that.
Alright, so 2 cards played in both. And I gotta think we got a pass here. And looks like Grant's gonna win that one. So control the edge battle really playing a significant role in this game. And I
Sith
think
control, man.
I think that's probably gonna be the end. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2 target
And he had the
opportunities.
2
Wow.
targets. So he did, I think, almost had a shot at that. I don't know how he gets Council of the Sith, assuming that he spends it all to take out the Imperial Command. But hey, what a game. So there you go. Congratulations to John and Grant. Congratulations to Grant for making it to the finals.
Absolutely.
We'll get Grant's game in the finals up next. But in the meantime, we do have another top 4 game that we actually weren't able to film because one of the players was not wanting to volunteer that, not wanting to be on camera. So we respected that, and we will only have the finals for you guys. So stay tuned. We have the finals of the National Championship for Star Wars LCG coming up, and it will be a heater between Grant Huddleston and another player that you'll see whenever we get there. So again, super congrats to John here, and for everyone in this Star Wars tournament at Gen Con. It was a blast. Huge turnout, great people. And thanks for watching our videos, guys. We appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, we would love to send you out more Star Wars LCG content. And if you in particular like the tokens that Grant has on the left there, those are actually our Star Wars LCG Force tokens. And you can check those out at teamcovenant.com/store. Find those tokens there, and we like them. We think they're really beautiful and enhance the game. So if you agree, then check them out. We do appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching.